Hi there. How are you all? Have you ever suffered from the stomach flu? How did you feel? Did you feel like you were dying? Did you feel like you couldn't eat anything and everything that people suggested, like crackers, ginger ale, 7-Up, chicken noodle soup, wasn't really helping, but then it kind of got a little soothing as time went on? Now imagine you're pregnant and you can't eat, you can't drink, you can't even swallow your own saliva. Moving makes you very nauseous and very sick. Now remember, you're pregnant and you can't eat and you can't drink. How does that make you feel? From one moment to the next, the smells may bother you. The sound of your children bother you, make you sick. People are starting to wonder if it's really something that's happening to you or if you're making it up. This is really happening. There are women around the world who they wish that it was just the stomach flu, but it doesn't go away. 1 week, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. She's pregnant and she can't eat and she can't drink and she feels alone. Medical professionals tell her that it's in her head. They explain to family members that this is just in her head. She wishes that it was just in her head. She does her best to make it go away. She thinks to herself over and over again, why me? Why am I going through this? She is so sick that she lays there on the couch, lifeless, wishing that she could just get her life back, knowing that the only way that that's going to happen is if she's not pregnant. The suffering would go away if she wasn't pregnant. But that's not what she wants. She wants to give this baby life. But in order to do so, she needs proper hydration and nutrition. She needs somebody to advocate for her. She needs to know that she's not alone. Oftentimes, these women aren't even lying on the couch because they're too sick. So they're lying on the ground next to the toilet. They don't want to miss the toilet because they're afraid that their loved ones are going to have to clean up after them. They become a burden. They are so tired of being a burden. They would give anything to have their baby without this suffering, this constant suffering. They're afraid. They're afraid that they're alone and isolated. Their significant others, their husbands, they have to work. They can't be there to care for their wife 24/7. They have to work. They want their family and friends to reach out and help, but their family and friends are waiting for them to ask for help. But these women are too sick. They can't even function. They can't think. All they're thinking of is, am I going to live or am I going to die? Is my baby going to live? Am I going to die? They need you to help them and not feel alone. But right now, they feel alone. They need you to come and help them clean the house, to help them get to the bath. They can't even take a bath by themselves because they're fearful that they're going to pass out. They're alone and they're starving. They're pregnant and they're starving. Not for attention, for food, for water, for compassion. These women are pregnant and they just want help. They want to know that they're not alone in their suffering. Ginger and crackers and 7-Up cannot help women who are suffering from this condition. This condition that oftentimes is called acute morning sickness. There's nothing cute about Hyperemesis Gravidarum. This is beyond morning sickness, like Ashley McCall says in her book, Beyond Morning Sickness. We ask that you remember that moment when you were suffering from 24 hours of the flu. how you felt for 24 hours. And then imagine that you're in the women's shoes that suffer from hyperemesis gravidarum, and they're going through it 24, 48, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 9 months of suffering. Not just 24 hours. It goes on, and they're pregnant and carrying a child or children if they're carrying multiples. Medical providers and caregivers, you should become part of the solution and not the problem. Blaming the women and saying that they have something that's in their head and it's a psychological issue, you're hurting them. You're not helping. Learn more about what hyperemesis gravidarum is. Understand that this is beyond morning sickness, that this is not acute morning sickness, and know that there's nothing cute about these women feeling like they're going to die. There's nothing cute about these women knowing that if they eat that food that they really are longing to eat, it's just going to make the symptoms worse. It's going to make them so sick that it's going to take so much time for them to recover just for trying to eat or drink. These women need to know that they're not alone, and they're not alone in their suffering and the understanding. And so many families are willing to be there when the child is born. Oh, I'll be there when the baby's born. Be there while the mother is carrying this child and help them through it. And when the woman goes to the ER and the medical professionals are laughing at her and saying, oh my goodness, why didn't she shower before she came in? Why don't you step into that woman's shoes and know that she was too weak to shower, that she doesn't prefer to stink. She prefers to have the help that she needs, but she is too sick to get into the shower and bathe. And she's fearful that she's going to pass out anyway. 8 years ago today, our family discovered that our baby Ayden Ray's heart had stopped beating with mine. Medical professionals didn't listen. It was too late. Our Ayden Ray would have been here had we not been ignored. Had my husband's pleas with medical professionals to get me proper hydration and nutrition not been ignored, Ayden Ray would be here. But my needs were not met. Simply, I needed hydration and nutrition. And every day, we miss our baby, Ayden Ray. But because of our loss and our tragic ending, we have created the Ayden Ray Foundation to help other families not suffer as we have. We stand together to be part of the solution and not the problem. And we ask all of you to be part of the solution and not the problem. Together we can band together to make a difference in the world of hyperemesis gravidarum. If men suffered from this condition, there wouldn't be either babies being born or there would have been a cause and a cure by now. When my needs were met in my last pregnancy with our 5-year-old boy, Ayden, our little boy is so healthy, and my pregnancy was like night and day from my pregnancies prior to that. I had a peg tube, and I had control over what I could put inside of my body. I was able to do cranberry juice if I felt like I was getting a UTI. I was able to do multivitamins, liquid vitamins, my hydration, and my food, all through my peg tube. It's important that we all know and understand how severe hyperemesis gravidarum can be and stop blaming the mother. If you are a family member or friend, come together and help the mom and help the family through it. Don't just say you're going to be there when the baby's born. The baby may not make it. Your loved one may not make it while she's carrying this baby that she's trying to have. Now's the time to come together and make a stand. And know that this is not the 24-hour flu. This is very, very, very devastating, isolating. It's hell. Walking a moment in an HG mom's shoes is not what any of us who have suffered would ask for any of you to do. All we ask is for your support and your understanding, and for you to never think for one moment that we would do this to ourselves, that we would cause ourselves to suffer for attention. Nobody wants attention like this. This is far too severe for any of us to want attention through suffering while we're pregnant. Are you going to be part of the solution and not the problem?